Does anybody else think that the polling is obviously way off this year? Like, they keep showing.
That's a great content creator. You should go check out their content. While I do like a lot of the content, I do disagree with some of the things they say, but I do support a lot of what they say because they have a lot of good things to say. But I will say when it comes to polls, I do not follow the polls. I don't. And I'll get to why his last point, I have kind of a counter to that. But the polls to me are not accurate enough to follow to give me any bearing on anything, right? I think maybe they're there partially for the undecided voters, but they're wildly off. They always are. If you look historically at polls and how presidential elections go, the polls are always off. They're always way off. So I don't. Yes, they're saying it's close. But even if they said it was a far gap, I still wouldn't believe it. For me, what the polls say does not sway how I'm feeling about the election. I think there's still some wild cards out there. I think it may be close just because of certain states and what they've done to try to get things in their favor. But no, I don't listen to polls. I'm going to try to do a live stream the night of the election to cover things, and I will be pulling up information and polls there to see how accurate they are. But if we look at polls from, previous in the year, just months before, they're not going to be accurate. You guys will see that. We'll try to show that during the live. As far as the comment that he makes about how they've got to be somewhat accurate because that's how they make money. No, they don't, actually. That's the funny thing. This is the other reason I don't follow polling. They're going to produce numbers that are going to give news agencies things to talk about, topics to run with, right? As long as they say it's close, it keeps that back and forth going. But if they say Harris has got this, then the only thing they can do is just keep talking about how Harris is good. The news cycle gets boring. They're just going to keep talking about how great it's going to be for her to be president and all. It's not going to give them anything to work with. It's not going to be sensationalized. And for ratings, they need sensationalism. So, of course, they're going to tell you the polls are close. They're going to keep running it as though it's close. Also, keep in mind, every poll is different. I have seen polls where Harris is winning. I've seen polls where Trump is winning. I've seen polls where they're tied. I've seen polls where it says Texas is going to flip. Florida's going to flip. Hence why I've been having conversations in my lives about why, do you think Texas or Florida will flip blue? Whether I know that's happening or not, it doesn't matter because it creates content. And that's what the news runs with. They may not go that far with it, but I'll tell you what, in the lives I've had where I've mentioned those topics, my numbers have been up. So it works. It does work. And that's why we're saying that. But no, don't follow the polls. For people that know, if you don't know this, I'll explain it to you. Following the polls that come out weekly, that's like watching your stock numbers daily. Right? It's not going to tell you anything, and you're going to drive yourself nuts. So, guys, ignore the polls for right now. Maybe if there any monthly polling, I would follow that. But when I see these things coming out each week with the numbers being either identical or so weirdly different, it doesn't make any sense. And the sampling groups are so small in some of these too. Anyway, what are your thoughts, guys? Definitely go check out his video, please. Go show him the support that he deserves, needs, all of that, and me as well. And then, yeah, we'll do a live over this most likely during the election. I'll be trying to cover that the night of because it's what I want to do. I don't care if nobody's there. I'm doing it. But anyway, that's where we're at there. So.